yeah, they blind us to what there is to see.
And in society at the moment, society is very addicted to lots of different things. And you talk about how ambition was not necessarily addiction, but it was the plaster that was covering up what was underneath. And, whether it's drugs, coffee, wine, social media, we do have a tendency to think we need to fill every waking moment,
Mm.
don't we?
Mm. Yeah, I think it's that busy. Busy is almost like a badge of honor, isn't it? How are you? I'm busy. Um, and to not be is almost a sign that you're not doing well, perhaps.
Mm.
Um, but I think it's an entire kind of redefinition of what success is, and what we value. Um, that is it would be transformative, but we don't have to wait for society to have this um, transformation of consciousness. We can decide that, we can realize that for ourselves, and it can isolate us. I think to decide that we are going to place joy and peace and love, um, to make those our goals, our true goals, above
Mm.
all else, can make you feel quite alien.
Yeah.
Um,
Have
but
you found that at times that you found it isolating? And if you have, what have you done to? Because I know from a personal point of view, I have, because it's a new path, and essentially, I like to think of me as the new cat. And yeah, I found loneliness, but it's then pushed me to find connection in with like-minded people and in yoga groups or chanting evenings or whatever it might be. But have you found that?
all the time, and it's I think the more vocal that you are, for just as you are, Kat, with your podcast and your book, um, you are really owning your voice and your outlook. And um, I think when you have come from a background which has different values, like the media, or um, yeah, or just living in this society. I don't think
Mm.
it's industry specific, but certainly you can, um, people, you can seem strange. You can suddenly want to have different conversations, um, and some people will fall away, and some opportunities will fall away, um, and that can be feel quite exposed. Um, but as you said, it's about, the beauty is that, you create space for others um, whose values are aligned, and really beautiful, meaningful connections with depth spring from those, from that place. So it's not all about loss, but there is that period where you are really, but stepping into yourself and becoming who you've always been. But that can estrange you sometimes from the old um, communities, or partners, or work environments which were your people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about authenticity. And as I said at the beginning, one of the things that really resonated with me was just how beautifully authentic and honest you are and were when I first saw you. And you say in your book, it's the ticket to success. And to some extent, authenticity has become a bit of a hot word.
Mm.
And people think, oh, I must show up on my social media really authentically, and therefore I need to say everything that my past has entailed. And actually, it's not about that. How do you see showing up authentically?
It's a funny question, because it's not something I think about. It's not a conscious decision to I think there's a part of me that always has been, a little bit, a little bit a slightly non-PR PR, if you like, that public relations having been my background in an industry which is really about, presenting and molding and curating
Mm.
personal brands and images. And um, I guess I wasn't raised with those values. And that idea of keeping up with the Joneses, that wasn't something which was the norm for my family. And so, not really answering the question. How do I see authenticity? I just,
Is it just wearing your heart on your sleeve and just just being
being
that
great.
person of love?
It's being you.
Yeah.
It's just being you, and unapologetically, and I think that's authenticity. And sometimes that might not be particularly, you might not feel particularly loving, yeah, difficult. Good question. I'll have to ponder
You'll get back to me
Well,
on that one.
yeah, I don't give it much thought. It's because
No, but
again,
I think that's quite telling in that you don't give much thought because it now comes very naturally to you. And isn't that the point, that you shouldn't have to think about how
yes,
to?
100%. Yeah, yeah, that is it.
And
Yeah.
you also mentioned how you dimmed your light for others. Can you tell me more about that? Because I think that was certainly the case of me. We learned sort of roles in family dynamics or work environments, and more of us are doing it than we personally realize at the time. And again, it's stepping into your own light and going, it's okay to be me. But can you elaborate on how you saw dimming your light and then how you then took back your light, essentially?
I think it's just another way that we conform. And certainly I've conformed and, to um, placing an emphasis and on how other people will feel, not wanting to leave others feeling less than. Um, it could be seen as compassion, but there comes a point where you realize that actually, to constantly place the well-being of others above your own well-being, to the detriment of your well-being, is not compassionate at all, neither to others actually, but most tellingly to yourself. And there comes a point where, because what you do is you enable people. Then, if you are concentrating on dimming your own light, so others don't feel offended or feel challenged, well, you do them a disservice, because at some point those individuals are likely to have their own light sparked by your own, the beam of yours. And um, yeah, it's all fear, isn't it? It's a fear of being rejected by people, and sometimes it's the people that are closest to us. But we really have a responsibility to ourselves, and to live purposefully and to live on purpose and embrace our purpose is to just embrace all of who we are and own it and shine. Um, yeah, it's a conscious decision to be who we are.
I love the question that you put in your book. And it's a very simple one. It's like, who are you? Who are you without the badges? And we can get, I don't know, caught in the headlights of life where we get attached to what we think we need to do or we have to be or achieve. And what if we took all of that away? And I think that's a really interesting conversation about asking ourselves, who are you without all of that? And did you get to the point where you asked yourself that question, like, who am I and who do I want to be? Or, well, not who we want to be, because we know that it's going back to being our true self, but we come in as our very pure self, and life and society and experiences mold us into this constructed, altered version of ourselves. And actually, it's going back to that very truth, isn't it?
Mm.